Allez, le modérateur est bientôt prêt. We have to cut just a few seconds your microphone. Enfin, our microphone. I cut my microphone.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Here in Brussels, welcome back, welcome terug, bienvenue de nouveau. And to the people joining us from, let me see, Bari, Copenhagen, Dublin, Košice, Krakow, Ljubljana, Odense, Prešov, Rijeka and Tartu, I'd like to give you all a very warm welcome in your own language, but sadly I kind of lack the linguistic skills to do that, so I'll just say welcome to you all. I hope you all enjoyed Western as much as I did. I think it's a really beautiful movie with a lot of things to say. And in just a minute, we'll be talking to director Valeska Griesebach from Germany. Let me remind you that the questions here will be coming from you. So I'd say pull out your phones and tweet away. All you have to do is use the hashtag LuxPrize, and that way I will see your tweets coming up in our Twitter wall, which will be up in a few seconds, and that way I can transfer your questions to Ms. Griesebach. You can also, here in Brussels then, you can connect to the Wi-Fi of Beaux-Arts if you don't have connection here, so it's all very easy. You can just tweet your questions. We're now waiting for Ms. Griesebach to join us by Skype. She's at home, I think, in Berlin. And she will, sadly she couldn't make it physically here today, so we'll have to do it the technological way. So let's wait for her to appear in a really huge format on this screen with us here tonight. Aha, Ms. Griesebach, I can see you. I don't know if the audience can. I can't hear you yet. But she's here. I can confirm to the audience. Ms. Griesebach is here. We're waiting for her to appear on the screen.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay.
We're just waiting.
I just hear my.
I can see
I just
you,
hear myself.
Can't yet. So we're just waiting for this little technical thing to appear.
Okay.
But
I just hear myself. I hope this is. I hear all the time my voice a little bit later.
Okay, well, as long as I can hear you, it's fine. So.
Okay. Okay, wonderful.
Where are you, at home in Germany?
I'm at home, and I'm very happy I can speak to you. And it was very exciting when you told all the wonderful places and cities. And I really would say hello and thank you so much that we have this conversation.
All right, thank you so much for making time to be here in a digital way with us tonight.
I really have to say, because it's really, would really like to express all the joy from myself and the production companies that the film is nominated for the Lux Award. I think the award is really a wonderful thing, and yeah, we are very happy about this.
We are very happy to have seen the film tonight. It's very beautiful. Congratulations for the movie, by the way. We are now live, I think, on YouTube, on Facebook, in 11 countries. I think
Wow.
This must be the Q&A with the biggest audience you've ever done.
No, it's very exciting, really. Sitting here at home.
Luckily, you can't see them all, or you may be a little bit nervous then.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I would maybe start by a question that I personally would like to ask you. We can see these characters, how they live in a foreign territory, these German characters. But how is it for you to be actually shooting a movie in a foreign territory, a country that you personally weren't living in or weren't familiar with?
No, for me, it was always, I think for everybody of us, it was really a big adventure to make this film. And it was also when we had a script and the kind of idea of searching for something, it was also a trip in the unknown. And so when I started the project, and it's a project about two very different perspectives in Europe. So I think in Bulgaria, Europe feels totally different than Europe and Germany. it was clear that I'm coming from Germany, in this country I don't know, and I don't speak the language. And so it was always clear with all the ideas before and all the script that this was really a kind of collaboration. And for me, it was wonderful because it was a very interesting experience in losing control, because you always, when you make a film, you try to control, and you have to, in a way, you have to keep the control. But for me, it was wonderful to see that in a way, in the end, you can catch a story, especially in Bulgaria, because sometimes I'm really when I make a film, sometimes it makes me really nervous when everything is perfectly planned. And when everything is perfectly planned, I start in a way immediately to create some chaos, because for me it's really the reality is always a kind of sparring partner for the fantasy or for the fiction. And in Bulgaria, when we talked to people and we wanted to plan something 4 weeks in advance, sometimes the people in the villages, they were quite, I don't know, not irritated, but in a way, they thought, okay, we never know what is in 4 weeks. And for me, it was wonderful that you always know there is this kind of the way of life. Sometimes you have to improvise, and we always knew, okay, we can make something in half an hour, and we can make a lot about nothing sometimes. And this was for me a very wonderful experience while making a film.
Right. Did you also improvise a lot in terms of the script, or was everything well written out, or how did you work on that?
It was yes and no. I think I really thought a lot about the script. So the script was really kind of, I think I worked on the script for 3 or 4 years. And but how I told before, for me the script is always something we go out with the script. And for me, really the reality is a kind of sparring partner. So but it was clear. So for example, we knew we had to create this third language. There's a German language and there's a Bulgarian language. And for example, these kind of human communication, this was not a question of improvisation. It was really to create together with the ensemble, with the actors. How could it work? We have a scene, and the scene has a kind of content and a kind of dialogue. And then to see, okay, how can we create this third language, which for the audience creates this idea of understanding and communication. And this was really interesting to develop this kind of language.
Exactly. I have a first question coming in from Twitter. Let me transfer that one to you. It's from Isabella. I think she's from Italy. And she's
okay.
asking, she's first of all saying it's a great film, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And then she says, Western is a traditionally male genre, so do you feel that you made a statement by approaching it as a female director? She's asking.
I think, first of all, I feel a great tenderness for all the men in the film. And I was growing up with Westerns in West Berlin in the 70s, and maybe I share this with the whole generation, this kind of experience. And I felt as a little girl, I felt very attracted to this genre. And then for me, it was really interesting now to explore as a grown-up woman, this fascination for the genre. And I think there are different things. One, for example, that I was really interested in this kind of masculinity, these lonely, melancholic heroes who are searching for something, for some kind of freedom and independency. At the same time, maybe they're looking for coming home at some place. These kind of faces who are not allowed to show emotions, but maybe there are a lot of emotions behind. So I mean, okay, it's a genre of the white man, the Western genre, and I think in the way these kind of maybe being a man tells a lot about society. But I was really interested to come closer to this kind of masculinity, and it's not like dance with the genre. But so I was never interested in some kind of reinvention of the genre or judging the genre. It was more like, I think in a way I felt a lot of tenderness for the man. But yeah, so there were different paths who led me to the story. And I think in the same way, at the same moment, it tells a lot about construction of society. So what is the law of the society? Is this a law of empathy, or is this a law of the strongest and the fittest? And do you have empathy or condemned for the other one? Yeah.
And did you, in this story, in conceiving the story, did you consider the Germans to be the cowboys in any sense and the Bulgarians to be the Indians? Was that the way you thought of it?
I think it's not so simple. I think it's wandering through the story. Sometimes I think, okay, maybe Meinhard is the Indian, he's the feminine man. So I think everybody of the story deals with these kind of topics. It's not really separated, the Germans and the Bulgarians.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question coming in from Twitter. It's from Ina Katrina. I don't know where she's from, but her question, well, first of all, she's also saying it's a great film, so again, congratulations.
Thank you.
She's asking
Thank you so much.
Why didn't people in the film just try to speak English?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's not necessary maybe to connect it to the reality of the ensemble, but English is not the language which is spoken and which is learned. So, and I think this generation, for example, these men in the film, they are maybe they feel so different, but at the other hand, they really share an experience. For example, the experience of the communism, and so these German men, they learned in school more Russian, maybe just a little bit of Russian than English. So English is not the language of everybody. And in the Bulgarian villages, you very rare you find somebody who speaks a bit of English, and it's maybe not. It's a language of traveling when you worked maybe for a few months in England, but it's not really a language you communicate in a very delicate way.
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering about the actors, because I noticed that a lot of the actors actually share their name with the character, like Meinhard. He's really called Meinhard, so I'm guessing a lot of them are not professionally trained actors. How did you find them, and how did you work with them?
Yeah, this was very exciting, because always when I start a film project and when I start writing, it's always combined with going out and talk to people and start casting and researching. And in the beginning, for me, it was really kind of, I don't know, not fun, but I really thought, okay, now I take for myself these pin-up moments, because I wanted to talk to men and later also with women about their Western moments in life. And I thought, okay, now I'm going to the streets and I look, where are the men I can imagine in a Western? And very soon I ended up with men from the construction sites. And yeah, I was very interested in this kind of closed community and very old-fashioned community in a way, where women are very absent, but at the same time they are there because in their talks and. But yeah, I asked people on the street in the beginning alone, and with an assistant. Later there was a kind of casting team, and we invited them to first to interviews, and then we rehearsed for a long time, and then we found this ensemble. Yeah, but it was for me it was funny on the street, because it's always for me like wonderful that you ask people on the street, okay, are you maybe interested to be in a film or to come to a casting, to an interview, and how many people in a way are curious. But with these men, it was in the beginning, it was okay, maybe. But when I told them, okay, I would like to make a Western, it was like, okay, I'm coming. And this was very, very interesting. But at the other hand, the cards were open on the table. I'm a woman, and I would like to make a Western, and I will look at them, but we will collaborate to make the film. And but very important was the time, that we had really. Months before to try something, to get used to the camera, and it was very important that the actors also know, okay, how could it be to make a film? How could it be to disappear for 3 months making a film?
Exactly, yeah, and I think it worked out very well, because they're all so natural. I mean, it's quite amazing that you pulled that out of them. So congratulations on that.
They were really amazing. So
they were. Yeah.
Thanks to them. Yeah.
I was wondering, did you get the chance to screen the film in the village where you shot the movie?
Yeah, this was really wonderful. So it was very important to do this, and we did it in the end of September, and it was on the very close to the village square, and it was an open air screening, and it was really great. So the mayor of the village, he always told me, Valeska, there will only come maybe 150 persons, and because he had to cook, and we wanted to make everything very, very nicely. And then he was he was really sweating, because then in the end there was 100, 200, 300, 400, and it was really all the old ladies from the villages and the children and neighbors, and everybody was coming out, and it was, for me, it was really in a way one of the most important premieres, and very beautiful for everybody of us to share this experience.
It's a funny coincidence. I just see on Twitter that someone asked the exact same questions. So
okay.
So that's nice. I have another question coming in from Jolanda Smits. I'm guessing from the Netherlands. She says, congratulations. How much time did it take to make the film? What was your budget?
It took me, in a way, I was really thinking a long time about this film, and I think the concrete work for the film was maybe, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years. I stopped counting. So, and we had these stop and go moments that 1 year we thought, okay, now we will make the film, and then 6 weeks before, so we had a missing gap in the financing, and we had to stop it. We had to travel to the village and to say, okay, we are very sorry, but we will come next year, which was really a very bitter moment in this moment. But then in the end, now everything is okay, because we used the year for also for preparation and to stay in contact. And I think the budget is also something I sometimes not forget, but I think it was something like 1,800,000 euro.
The next question coming in from Twitter, again with the hashtag LuxPrize, so if any of you have some more questions, go ahead and tweet them. Next question is from Kristalina Toneva, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and it's great movie, again. What is the meaning of
Thank you so much.
The meaning of the ending, and why did you choose particularly Bulgarian?
Bulgaria was, for me, it was very interesting, and it was strange in a way when now in retrospective, because I told before I come from West Berlin, and so when I was younger, my travel direction was the other direction. And so I was in Poland, and I was maybe short in Romania, but I realized I have not so much travel experience in the other direction from Europe. And when I thought about the story about the Germans traveling with their big machines and their knowledge and all these high status maybe in Europe, they're traveling to another country, I thought, okay, maybe I should travel to the east of Europe. And then in the end, I think Bulgaria, it's always this kind of traveling into the blue and not knowing what you are finding. In a way, you know what you're looking for, but it has a lot to do with to meet people and I don't know, it was a coincidence of meeting people. Then I was always attracted by the border areas, because I thought, okay, the border has all of these ambivalent subtext of separation, but at the other side, this attraction to go further or to another country. And I was looking for this kind of wilderness, which is not a real wilderness. In a way, it's a fake wilderness, but which creates for the Germans this expectation of adventure, or that maybe they can act different than from home. And the end, I think for me, the story has to do a lot about these ambivalence of a duo, or the ambivalence of friendship or love, that in a way you or this mix of desire for the strange situation or strange people, and at the other hand this mistrust, and the question, how close do you really would like to come to another person? And I always told to Meinhard when he was playing the role, it's a little bit not like a Walt Disney situation for you, but in a way nobody knows you. You can reinvent yourself. You can take all these emotions from other people. You can tell you're a legionnaire, or you are what else. So, but at one point he really, there's a break maybe that he shows his weakness, and he's not this superhero. And so he's there with all his shame and lying on the ground. And for me, it was very interesting that maybe at this point real contact starts, when you're not always strong or the one you would like to be. And this was the question: is he now disappearing, or has he the strength to come back? And
what I thought was interesting about the ending as well is that in the entire movie there's a question of language, of trying to communicate, and in the ending there's only music, which is kind of a universal language.
Yeah, for sure. It's a universal language, and it has a very physical, emotional language. So, yeah.
Next question is from Peter Brandt from Copenhagen, and he's asking, hi Valeska, do you have a political message with the film? Good question.
Yeah, in a way, political message, yeah, for sure. But it's not so like this one message, but I really believe in contact, or in trying to communicate. And for me, it's so the one thing is maybe that you have always these globalism and all these interaction over the whole world, but in the end, sometimes you have these two persons meeting on a village square, and it's very very concrete contact. And I think this is very important not to lose. And I really, in a way, this is maybe not. It's not only a political message, but maybe this is kind of, I don't know. Don't want to sound pathetic, but in a way, maybe a humanistic thing I believe on, and also maybe, which is always a political thing, because you can meet it every day in your daily life. I was interested in this situation when somebody is strange to you, your impulse to put yourself on a higher status. This when condemned is on place from empathy. And years ago, I was thinking about making something about this diffuse xenophobia you can find in Germany, you can find everywhere, which is connected to, okay, what is the official history, or the official appointment was for example, is German history, and then maybe we have a kind of different history telling in families, or something which is coming again, I don't know, on the surface. And yeah, in this film maybe I was looking for a kind of staging. We can think about this together.
Yeah. Let's go over to Paris. Maël is asking you, first of all, greetings from Paris. Did you learn Bulgarian for the film, actually?
Yeah, in a way, yes. So maybe I don't speak very elegant Bulgarian, but now I can have a conversation in Bulgarian, which is very nice. So, yeah.
Great. Everything for the job. Matjas Erker from Slovenia, I guess, is asking you, the Westerners' superiority complex, do you think it will ever stop? Wow. Provocative question.
The Western, I don't want to ask back, but from the West, not the Western film genre. It's more the.
No, yeah. I guess he's asking the Western people. Yeah, the people who come from the West to the East.
Great question. I mean, this has a big tradition, and this is like, I don't know, not like it's not a religious question, but. I mean, this is, yeah, in a way, the question tells a lot about it. So I don't know what has to happen that it stops. I think it's a very strong impulse, and it's a very ambivalent impulse. So I think I can't answer this question.
Yeah, it's an open-ending.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Finan Toybin from Ireland is asking you, did Meinhard have genuine feelings for Vieira, or did he just want what she represented? Interesting.
It's interesting because it's also, for sure I had an idea, and for me Vieira, she's more maybe like not like an object, but she is part of this duel between Meinhard and Vincent. So in my imagination, so he was in a way, I think these maybe with Veneta there are other fantasies in his mind, but I think this is also this ambivalence, hurting Vincent, but also hurting himself, because maybe he's together with not the wrong woman, but he has other dreams.
Yeah. Meinert, he's very secretive about his past, I'd say, and you don't actually tell us a lot about it either. But did you, in your head, kind of write a biography for him? Did you know exactly what he lived through in the past?
I like it that he has these that he creates this fantasy of a history he's traveling with. For me, he's this history of the legend. I don't know. For me, it's very close to a fantasy story. I mean, he has a kind of past, and I think his past is connected also with violence and to be heard. But it was very important that he carries both in himself. So he's this big, elegant, beautiful man, but also he's inside sometimes this small man with all his fear and opportunistic moments.
Yeah, definitely.
Hello?
Yes, I can still
hear you. Are you still there?
Yeah. Do you still hear me? I hope so. Can you still hear me?
Hello?
Yes. I'll try to ask you another question. I hope you can still understand it. I would like to hear about the references to Nazism and communism in the film. Valeska, can you still hear me?
Hello?
Yes, I can still hear you. We can all still hear you, but I'm afraid you...
Okay, wonderful. Now I can hear you again.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm relieved, because otherwise I would make a fool out of myself here on the stage. I was just asking you about, there's a lot of references in the movie to Nazism and communism, like the big historical past of Germany and Bulgaria. They had this past with Nazism and communism, and I would like to hear your point of view on that. Why did you include that in the movie?
I only heard the end of the question, but I think I got it. For me, it was for myself. It was interesting when I was traveling to Bulgaria, how this history came up in a way, and officially with this kind of companionship and this. The German are the strong ones, and for me it was quite irritating. And I for myself, I did it. I'm sorry. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm not speaking, so that's normal.
Okay, no, but I have this kind of irritation in my ears, so I'm very sorry.
It's fine. We can understand you just fine.
Okay, wonderful. And so, but then I thought, okay, now it's very interesting for the story, because these men, these two German men, for example, who are looking for this kind of, they're around 50, and they're this foreign country. Creates this kind of fantasy that life owes them a kind of adventure, or there's this expectation of there could be some more, and then they're in this foreign country with this mix of desire and mistrust, and then to meet this kind of you come from Germany, and the Germans were before with all the history we shared, they were the strong ones. This kind of mirror for the Germans, for their duel and the expectation that there should be something now in this place. I found this very interesting for the staging of the story.
Very much. All right. I'm not getting any more new questions from Twitter, so I'm just going to thank you very much for your time and congratulate you one more time with the fantastic movie. Good luck in trying to win the LuxPrize, of course. Thank you also to the audience here in Brussels, but also in the 11 cities that I'm not going to pronounce again because it was hard enough the first time. Thank you very much for all watching, for all asking questions. Enjoy.
I'm so sorry that I can't hear you, but I just also want to say thank you so much, and all the best 11 cities from me and the whole crew and team, and we're really very happy that the film is nominated for the wonderful Lux Award. And I'm sorry about my English. I have to train. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Valeska. See you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you very much to the audience. Thank you. Bye. Toi peut-être? Ah non, t'as plus le casque. Ok. Je pense pas que c'est lui, c'est lui.